Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. NordVPN.com. That's NORDVPN.com. Not just a glove, it's a 44 Pro. Crafted with dedication, made for performance, and built to last. Get your custom glove today at 44pro.com and experience the 44 Pro difference. That's 44pro.com, 44 Pro.
Our patented handles were launched in 2018. We continue to push the boundaries of strength training. Join us in making your training more natural and effective. Visit Engels90.com to learn more and revolutionize your workout.
Looking for tickets to the hottest shows, games, and events? Ticket Liquidator is your one-stop shop for great prices, no hassles, and guaranteed tickets. Whether it's sports, theater, or concert, for the best seats at the biggest events, start with Ticket Liquidator today at ticketliquidator.com. Ticket Liquidator.
Introducing Bark in the Belly Premium Dog Food. 100% of profits go to help dogs in need.
Over 30% of adults struggle with chronic foot and joint pain, and many face mobility limitations as they age. But a revolutionary Comfort First slipper has taken the wellness world by storm. Try Cloud Slides and feel you are walking on the clouds. Cloud Slides.
Welcome on in. Wicked Boston Show with Cam Stuart here on the Rogue Media Sports Network on this Monday of Christmas week, right after the Patriots have finally, I say finally, clinched a playoff spot again after 4 years, because that feels like a finally thing after a long time of success around here. We're going to break all that down. We're going to talk Drake Maye, MVP, playoffs. We're going to have Mike Debate of Sports Illustrated on. We got to talk about a Red Sox trade that happened over the weekend, Wilson Contreras. It's a real double-edged sword here. But first, I do have to address the elephant in the room. Yeah, we're not in the normal studio. It is Christmas week. I'm at an Airbnb on the beach. It's not very warm, and this place doesn't have heating, so that's terrific. But as you can tell behind me, there's a bit of a theme. with the artwork here. Not my favorite band in the world, but clearly some Deadheads that rent this place out. Grateful Dead stuff everywhere. Grateful Dead tribute bands, things that just look like it could be with the Grateful Dead, except for this one piece of art that we have at this Airbnb. And you're not going to be able to read it, but I do want to show you to you to see, so that you can see that it's real. This is the only thing that's not Grateful Dead on here. And what this is a framed notice from the inauguration committee that requests the honor of your presence to attend and participate in the inauguration of Richard Milhouse Nixon and Spiro Theodore Agnew for Vice President of the United States. 1973. How about that? How about the only thing that's not Grateful Dead is an invitation to Richard Nixon's inauguration? That's unbelievable. It's also not what we're talking about today. Yeah, Patriots, miracle comeback win. We will hear about what this means for them going forward, what this means for Drake Maye in this current MVP hunt, because, all of a sudden, yeah, maybe Drake Maye is an MVP candidate again. And then, of course, the Wilson Contreras trade as well. But we start where we start. It's in the thumbnail. It's why you're here. It's why we didn't get a lot of sleep last night, but why we're very much okay with it. All those Patriots haters, man, I hope you got your jabs in last week. That's all. You got 1 week. You got 1 week to believe that this team can't beat anybody, that they're going to fold in the big games, and that Drake Maye isn't clutch. That's what you got. You got your week. Drake Maye felt good about that, but he said, you know what? We can't have our Patriots fans feeling that way at Christmas time. And Drake Maye delivered. And the Patriots are going to the playoffs for the first time in 4 years. But the story is your quarterback, number 10, down 11 in the fourth quarter. No fourth quarter comebacks in his career. No 300-yard passing games in his career. Not anymore. Not anymore. All he does, after quite honestly not a very good first half, is go right down the field, back-to-back drives. Has one of the throws of the season to Kyle Williams on that 40-yard bomb touchdown that he has to cut the lead to 24-21. Patriots defense finally gets that stop, and Drake Maye goes 89 yards right down the field, right down their throat, and puts them in the lead with 2:07 left. And I know so many of us were thinking, oh boy, is that too much time for Snoop Huntley to cook? It wasn't. Zay Flowers fumbles, as Zay Flowers is wont to do, and the Patriots run out the clock, and they are going back to the postseason. So all the stuff that you thought was going wrong last week, that I thought was going wrong last week, vanquished by Drake Maye in Baltimore on Sunday Night Football. All the kid does is just lead game-winning drives on the road on Sunday Night Football against MVPs on the other side. I get it. Lamar didn't play the second half. I get it. Trust me, that's not lost on me. But two teams that just go to the playoffs every year, that win their division all the time, that have been the main challengers to the Kansas City Chiefs the last couple of years, Buffalo, Baltimore, both games on the road, Sunday Night Football, need game-winning drives. Drake Maye delivered both times. This time he was down 11 in the fourth quarter. They were dead. The game was dead. But this is a game the Patriots won because Drake Maye is their quarterback. And we said it a lot this year, and everyone said, oh, well, look who it's against. It's against who? And they're going to say it this week. Oh, now the Ravens are 7-8. You're pounding your chest over a team, beating a team that's 7-8. Yeah, see, they don't even know the words. Like, yeah, I am. That's a Baltimore Ravens team that still, for the first half, had Lamar. Still had Derrick Henry, who should have gashed the Patriots the whole game. Still have John Harbaugh. Like, this is the foundational pieces of a team that's gone to the AFC Championship game, that's been right in the mix in the AFC every year of the last half decade, playing at home in a night game, in a game they really need to win, and they had an 11-point lead in the fourth quarter. So, yeah, this is hella impressive from Drake Maye, who was, again, shaky, I think is a nice way to put it in the first half. Threw a pick, had a fumble. He had another fumble later in the game that didn't get recovered. I mean, remember that was the handoff that he just missed. But he put him on his back in the fourth quarter. They said, Drake, man, we need you. We need you to lead us there. And in the fourth quarter, what does he do? 12 of 14 for 139, a passing touchdown, and a comeback victory. That's all he does. Fourth quarter, puts the helmet on, says, everyone get on my back, and leads the Patriots back to the playoffs. And of course, Drake Maye is going to get all the accolades today, as well he should. Should get a lot of the accolades. But there's someone else you got to highlight here in this Patriots victory, and that is Stephon Diggs. I mean, I'm thinking Stephon Diggs might be the new Rajon Rondo. Remember when Rondo played for the Celtics and it was the games on TNT and ESPN? He would just go off. The nationally televised games, he was great. The other ones, he was just okay. He's fine. That's what Stephon Diggs might be, because his two best games of this year were on Sunday Night Football against places he has an attachment to, right? Like he's from Maryland. He went to the University of Maryland, and Buffalo was the other one. But 9 catches for 138. 9 catches on 10 targets for 138. And we've said it all year, man. And this is maybe the biggest surprise to me about this Patriots team. One of the biggest surprises, and a team full of surprises, is when you brought Stephon Diggs in here, you thought he'd be a good receiver. He's 31, coming off an ACL injury. His best days are clearly behind him. You thought he'd come in here and be a good receiver. What you got was a very good receiver who's still a number one, who shows up big time in these big games, and you have a leader. Because whether Stephon Diggs was healthy or not his whole career, he wasn't exactly seen as a leader. And he didn't exactly leave on great terms from any of the teams he left. And his first act, basically, as a New England Patriot, is dishing out pink cocaine to a bunch of ladies in bikinis on a boat on Memorial Day weekend. But since then, he has turned into a legit leader on this team. We saw it early in the season, and we saw it last night. The cameras caught it on NBC, but they're down 11 in the fourth quarter. I'm texting everyone I know, this thing's done. We're done here. What is going to happen with this team? And Stephon Diggs is going up and down the sideline saying, head up. We got this. Head up. Like he's literally going to every player saying, we got this. Head up. Head up. We still got work to do. We can do this. And he's a huge part of it. Like really the play of the game is on that final touchdown drive, the 4th and 2, because that's when it looks really dead. And this is coming off of the just horrific non-call for pass interference. I think it was that same series. And you go to 4th and 2, and this is where you have Drake Maye, you have Stephon Diggs, the other team doesn't. Because Baltimore knew exactly what play was coming. They knew exactly what the read was. And the corner jumped it. Like he knew it was coming. It was that short slant to Stephon Diggs. And even when he knew it was coming, Drake got it there. Diggs got it and turned it upfield for a first down. Once they converted that 4th down, I said, this is over. The Patriots are going to win. There's no way they're not scoring on this drive. And they did. That was the go-ahead touchdown with just over 2 minutes left. But you're facing a 4th and 2 around midfield with just over 3 minutes left. That is the exact play you signed Stephon Diggs for. Playoff spot on the line, on the road against a desperate team. 4th quarter, 3 minutes, 4th down, you're losing. That is the exact play that you get Stephon Diggs for. And he came through for you. So not only did you get a good receiver, you got a guy who's still a number one receiver and is a genuine leader on this team, a team that needs leaders. It's still a very young team. It's a very inexperienced team. There's not a lot of guys who have played in these big games. The only other one really is Milton Williams, and he's not on the field. It's him and Stephon Diggs. That's it. A little bit of Matt Collins. I guess he won a Super Bowl. But that's it. So you had Drake Maye and Stephon Diggs, and the other team did not. And it worked all night long. And the Patriots are back in the damn playoffs, man. That's a good feeling. This is where they should be. Remember, right after they missed in 22, Bob Kraft basically said, that we fell short of the standard. And then the bar got way low the next 2 seasons. Back-to-back 4-win seasons. To get back to the playoffs right after that with a couple of weeks to spare and still in the driver's seat to win the AFC East. I'd love to find a way to complain about this Patriots team, but I can't. I really can't, man. If they had lost last night, would the tone be different? Absolutely. Absolutely, it would have been different. That would have been back-to-back weeks playing good teams and laying an egg, not doing what you needed to do. If they continued playing that way in the first half, they would have lost. In fact, I'm sitting there in the fourth quarter. You're down 11, and you're thinking, man, if I had told you that Lamar Jackson was going to leave this game in the second quarter, and you were going to have a lead when he left, you're thinking, no way, no excuse for the Patriots to lose this game. Let alone by 2 scores, which is where it was in the fourth quarter. But this team is resilient as hell, man. And someone said it in the postgame on NBC, and I would give credit, but I don't remember who said it. But they said, this is not like a supremely talented Patriots team. And I don't think that's lost on any Patriots fan, right? Like I mentioned, they've got Drake Maye, who could be the MVP at quarterback. You've got Stephon Diggs. You've got nice pieces all around the field. But you look at some of these other contending teams, and there's not a ton of guys where those teams would say, you know what, I'd really like to switch this guy out for who the Patriots have instead. There's not a lot. Drake Maye, and the list is not much longer than that. And yet, these guys make plays. Stephon Diggs is the leading receiver with 9 catches last night, but second is Mac Hollins with 7. Henderson was given them big plays in the first half. Unfortunately, he gets hurt. Then Ramondre Stevenson steps back into that mold and makes big plays. And how about the game sealing play? It does not come from Drake Maye or Stephon Diggs or Ramondre Stevenson. It comes from K'Lavon Chaisson, who chases a guy down, Zay Flowers, and rips the ball free on an incredible play that Chris Collinsworth just could not stop talking about. Rallying to the ball, complete effort, playing to the whistle. That is how this Patriots team is 12-3. And they've thrown away a couple of games, and they're 12-3. So, yeah, you might have the MVP at quarterback for sure, but a lot of credit goes to the rest of these guys who picked themselves up by the bootstraps, who rallied, especially this defense, which has looked the last couple of weeks. They pulled themselves together and they made a big play when they needed to. And it didn't end up mattering that it was Snoop Huntley at quarterback because it was Zay Flowers was the one who fumbled away the game. So, man, back to the playoffs, and it feels really good. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Did Drake Maye win the MVP last night? Oh, I guess when it's Drake Maye doing well, we can acknowledge that there's a couple of games left in the season. But when it's Matthew Stafford, the MVP race is over. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. We come at you live on YouTube every weekday, noon Eastern time, and then we're available wherever you get your podcasts as well. Your lunchtime alternative to Boston Sports Talk Radio. It's right here on the Wicked Boston Show with Cam Stewart. Don't go anywhere, because when we come back, we're going to have Mike Debate of Sports Illustrated talking about what this performance meant for Drake Maye's legacy, but really what this performance means for the Patriots as they look ahead towards the playoffs, and maybe some of the concerns that came out of this one, specifically on the injury report. Let's talk about it next on the Wicked Boston Show.
Dive into adventure with Scuba.com, your ultimate destination for top-tier scuba and snorkeling gear. Whether you're a beginner or a pro, trust Scuba.com for the best in diving equipment and expert guidance. Explore now at Scuba.com. That's SCUBA.com. Scuba.com.
It's the Restore Clarity Focus Patch, my little secret weapon for staying sharp, focused, and on task. Each box comes with simple instructions inside, so you always know exactly how to apply it. Each patch lasts for 3 days. I love that I can wear it all day.
This is what $500,000 in a duffel bag looks like. Actually not real. That's because it's actually prop money. It looks realistic from a distance, but up close you can see it says for motion picture purposes. Visit propmoney.com today to get your money seen or money shot right with Prop Money Inc.
Golf Partner, the world's largest golf store network, offers more purchasing opportunities than anywhere else. With a dominant market share and a wider selection of quality secondhand golf clubs than our competitors, we make it easy for you to enjoy the game with affordable, top-quality equipment. Golf Partner.
It doesn't matter if your investment budget is small or big. All you need is Benzinga Pro and its powerful news alerts, price tracking, and portfolio monitoring. Subscribe now, and we'll skyrocket your portfolio today.
Experience with the Bosley MD hair regrowth kit was amazing. It was easy to use. It let me take off my hat. I could go in public and have my picture taken and feel normal again.
BosleyMD.com.
Welcome back to the Wicked Boston Show with Cam Stewart here on Rogue Media Sports Network. Coming to you live on YouTube from the temporary studio, a.k.a. the Deadhead Spare Bed, and the house that Richard Nixon's inauguration built, apparently. We are live on YouTube as we are every weekday, noon Eastern time, and then available wherever you get your podcasts as well. It's your lunchtime alternative to Boston Sports Talk Radio, and we are talking Patriots. The Patriots back in the playoffs, maybe back entirely. Drake Maye, an iconic performance, his first 300-yard game, his first fourth quarter comeback, and now the Patriots await to see what their seed is going to be and possibly an AFC East championship after a terrific win in Baltimore on Sunday night. No one better to break it down than our friend Mike Debate of Sports Illustrated Patriots on SI. Mike, a lot better vibe from last week. And I'm not going to lie to you, I didn't think that was going to be the case at halftime. Even though it was a 10-10 tie, I was like, I just don't like the way the Patriots are playing here. And it gets even worse when you're down 11 in the fourth quarter. But man, I think this Drake Maye kid can stick around.
Yeah, I think he's a keeper. I really do. I think the Patriots may have something here in this kid. Look, bottom line, you take a look at a young player, a second-year player, and a young team, really, if you think about it. I mean, they're going through growing pains with a new head coach, new philosophy, a lot to digest if you're a Patriots fan. And you're down 24-13. You're, inching your way probably toward the end of the game. Most teams would have faltered, especially Drake. You look at the first half that Drake Maye had, it wasn't pretty for the kid, and I'm not blaming him for that. He was under enormous pressure, literally. The offensive line is essentially playing musical chairs at the tackle position because of all the injuries that they have, and these guys are holding up as best they possibly can. I do not mean to knock them in the least because they're doing everything they need to do to be out there to win the game, but bottom line, you've got that. Drake was estimatedly pressured on 45.8% of his dropbacks in the first half. That would cause any quarterback to falter, let alone a young quarterback that's still, quote-unquote, kind of coming into his own. But Drake Maye did not lose his confidence. He kept his composure. He kept the eye on the ball, and give him a lot of credit. This kid started to chip away, and that's exactly what you need. Mike Vrabel called his performance gritty after the game, and he spoke with us here in the media, and that to me really spoke volumes. This kid grounded out and found a way to lead his team to a victory when most people would have said this team would have faltered. You've got a lot of other fan bases out there that were loving the fact that the Patriots were faltering, and you saw it. You saw all the tweets going around calling the Patriots frauds, and they're not going to be able to do it. Drake doesn't belong in the MVP conversation because he could never do what Josh Allen did last week and lead his team back. Drake Maye put a lot of that to rest last night, and he definitely belongs where he is. The Patriots belong where they are, and they put the league on notice last night. If you want to get to Santa Clara, you're going to have to play us to do it. And I don't think there are a whole lot of teams out there right now that are lining up to play the New England Patriots.
I think you're damn right about that one. I really do. And I love the point you kind of had at the end there, too, of like putting it all into context, right? Like what Drake Maye did on Sunday Night Football in a vacuum is awesome. Like it's great. It's eye-popping. But you put it in the perspective of like all the haters had a week to get the jabs in, right? Like they had their fun, man. They had their week, you know. For Dak Prescott, it's like been a decade, but for Drake Maye, you got a week to get this in. Like after like what everyone was saying,
right,
to then like putting that into perspective, to then bounce back and have this on Sunday Night Football. I guess what does this say about the kid? And I guess maybe more importantly, what does this say about the future of this team under Drake Maye?
Oh, I think the sky's the limit for both. You look at how Drake responded to adversity. And see, that's a big key when you're looking at a quarterback that's trying to make that leap from a very talented, young, raw player into a well-rounded leader of his team. Not just leadership by direction on the field in his play, but leadership in his attitude, leadership in his makeup, what he does out there and his mannerisms, his eye contact. All of those things are praised at the highest level for Drake Maye. And that, to me, spells a very bright future for this kid. But logistically, you look to see what he came back from. I already mentioned 45.8% of his dropbacks in the first half he gets pressure on. The interception, direct result of pressure. The strip sack toward the end of the first half, that was a result of pressure. So when you pressure this kid into throwing the ball away, he went down, took him a little while to get back up at one point. You're starting to see some of the bloom come off the rose, or at least we all thought that was the way this was going. But he rose from a shaky first half. He had MVP chance going in an enemy's building. That is not something easy to do. And I know there was a large Patriots contingent that was there, but for SI, obviously, you know, we cover a lot of different teams and we touch a lot of different fan bases. And there were Ravens fans sending me DMs last night saying that kid's the real deal. He proved something to me tonight. And that is the ultimate compliment from the true fan. You know, the loudmouths are going to sit there out openly on social media and they're still going to find fault. But the true fan actually saw an awful lot in Drake Maye last night. It's one of the main reasons why I think the Patriots need to be considered a very serious contender to represent this conference in the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, those MVP chants, Mike, those were loud. Like you could hear that coming over the broadcast on NBC, obviously, and it just kind of like it did take me back a little bit. You know, we've heard it a couple times. We heard it in Tampa earlier this year. We heard some of the MVP chants, but it's like, not only do you have a kid that makes you feel confident about your future, like that's kind of the baseline of this, but like you got what was the loudest fan base in the league being pretty loud again, you know, and you're seeing that in opponents' buildings. And there is kind of this feeling around the league of like, oh man, like here we go. And obviously they're not the Brady Patriots, but there is that feeling of like, they've got someone again, you know, the same way you get with the Packers every 10 years or so, you know, you just got another one of them.
Yep.
That's what it feels like with Drake Maye here. And I do want to shift focus a little bit, although it will have something to do with Drake Maye as we talk with Mike Debate of Patriots on SI after this massive New England win in Baltimore on Sunday Night Football. And so I say it's a little bit about someone else, but it does also speak to Drake Maye because you have this revolving door now happening at tackle. And you look out at it in the fourth quarter. You don't have Henderson. You don't have either of your starting tackles. You know, you're back out there with Vidarian Lowe, and you're thinking the worst here. And yet the Patriots do make that comeback. And I say this to say, it looks like the same team from last year, personnel-wise, except for Stephon Diggs. Yes. This is the kind of game you went out there, the kind of quarter that you said, this is why we got Stephon Diggs. So speak to what he meant in the game last night, but also kind of what he has meant to this young Patriots team all season.
Yeah, I think you can't say enough about what Stefan has meant to this team this year. First of all, his attitude and his experience. When he listens in that wide receivers room, everyone stops and listens to what he has to say. When he speaks, he is the guy that you want directing traffic out there and being that vocal leader, that spiritual leader, because he's played in big games before. He's been there. As I like to say, he's been to the puppet show. He's seen the strings. So he's going to let you know how you need to play, what you need to do, and the attitude you need to have to keep it going. Even when the Patriots fell down 24-13, you see him rallying his team on the sidelines. They feed off of Drake Maye, but one of the big things that they need is they need that vocal presence. You always had that in the Brady years, whether it be Julian Edelman or, someone that was very vocal on the sidelines to make sure that that team was remaining focused throughout any type of adversity. Stefan Diggs has been that this year. And then there's the other side of the coin where he's pretty damn good at playing football. You look at his ability to get 100-yard games, and you don't even realize that he's eclipsed that mark until they mention it on the broadcast or until you look at the stat sheet and you're putting things together and you realize just how valuable he is out there on the field. That 33-yard grab was a phenomenal way for the Patriots to advance the football, really gave them I think a huge boost in order to be able to finish off those scoring drives. Whenever you needed a big play or a big moment, Stefan was out there, and he loves being a part of this team, and he loves being out on the field. They practically had to fight him off to keep him in the blue medical tent, and it didn't really work so well. He was back out. He was ready to go because he wanted to make sure that he was in the lineup to help this team come back and eventually grab the victory. So he's been everything you've ever hoped for and asked for. And the tone was set back in training camp when he came back in nearly record time from an ACL tear, which could have kept him on the shelf for a couple of months to begin the season. He was ready to begin training camp, and he played at a high level every single time. This guy has been the perfect soldier and someone who has been beloved throughout the community. And you see what the Digs Deep Foundation and what he does, throughout the community. He's just been such a hand-in-glove fit here in New England, and you'll love to see it. Obviously, a player I've admired for a number of years, but getting a chance to get to know the man this year, you get really to admire him as well. And I can't say enough about Stefan and what he means to this team and this organization in this playoff run.
And it's worth noting from a football standpoint, he's coming off a pretty lean couple of weeks. Like it was one of the worst three. They had the stat last night. It's one of his worst 3-game stretches of his career,
right.
Leading up to this game. 2 catches, 3 catches, 3 catches, and then the lights shine bright, and there goes Stefan Diggs. He goes off. Want to talk about the injury part of it because that is a bit of a concern now. You're down a couple of tackles. You're down both your tackles for the time being. Milton Williams is eligible to come off of IR this next week, which could be a hat and t-shirt game once again for the Patriots. But Travion Henderson goes down as well. No Robert Spillane in that game either, obviously. So how important, Mike, is it over these next couple of weeks to be focused on, obviously you want to win this division and get that win against the Jets, but getting this team back to near full strength before you get to your first postseason game in 4 years?
Yeah, to me, that's more important, and I think Mike Vrabel is going to stress that. Obviously, winning the division title is an important component, and I don't think anyone in that locker room or anyone in that coach's booth is going to lessen that accomplishment, and I'm certainly not going to do that. I'm not going to stand up here and say, you know what, forget about it. No one needs the division. Just get healthy, and that's it. But in order for the Patriots to really accomplish what they truly believe they can accomplish, they need this team as healthy as possible. You need Kyrios Tonga in there. They still had difficulty controlling the run last night, and Derrick Henry goes off for 128 yards. You need to be able to shore up that run defense because you're going to run into teams that are going to try to run the ball at you. And the Patriots' run defense has been a little suspect the last couple of weeks, so that's something they need to address and get better at. You need those guys to be able to pass rush, and Milton Williams, I think, is going to be such a huge welcome back for this team when they do get him back in the lineup because he not only shores up the run defense, but also helps the passing rush get after the quarterback and do what they love to do. And it takes a lot of pressure off of Christian Barmore right now, who I think has just got so much on his shoulders. it's starting to show, deficiencies in his game. As long as he gets a little bit of help, he's going to come back and he'll be strong. So you want to get these guys back healthy. Travion Henderson is a concern. Definitely, you want to make sure that he's fully ready to come back from the head injury. Kayshon Boutte as well is someone who could be evaluated this week. But you want depth, and you want to make sure that all the guys that you need for that stretch run are at as close to 100% as possible when those playoffs begin. So get these guys healthy. Most importantly, make sure that if they're valuable to your playoff run, that you're not throwing them out there in this case. But I think you saw last night that even with this deficiencies that the Patriots have, the depth on this team is capable of stepping up and keeping the ship steered in the right direction. Anyone worried about next man up wouldn't worry too much about it. I think the Patriots are well set in that regard, but they do need their starters as healthy as possible heading into the playoffs.
Yeah, and that depth, which was a big question mark even until a few weeks ago, has really come through in big moments. One of the guys you've been talking about before almost anyone, Mike, was K'Lavon Chaisson. And he's the one who makes the big play at the end of the game, and I said it, the broadcast couldn't stop talking about it, and for good reason. Like, it's one of those effort plays like that looks like a Mike Vrabel culture play. Right. With K'Lavon Chaisson, he's beat, like the play is in front of him. Like, it's down the field, and here he goes, full speed into it, rips the ball out from Zay Flowers, and that wraps up the ball game. I think that's a microcosm of this Patriots team. You saw it big time in the second half, that play, and to your point, everyone stepping up that needed to. Even a guy like Ramondre Stevenson stepping up. He is the starter. They call him the franchise on the team, and Travion Henderson's been making the big plays the last month or two, and he goes down. Ramondre gets the game-winning touchdown. He had a really good game for himself. So, man, a lot to be excited about, Mike. Looking officially at the playoffs. I think we all knew that was coming the last couple of weeks and months here. But before we get you out of here, what do you got cooking this week? What is your big takeaway from this that we can see on Patriots on SI?
Yeah, I think the big takeaway from this week right now is that the Patriots can win in any situation. They'll be in any game. If anyone was worried about their ability to take a hit, face a little adversity, come back and still be able to get a win, they put that to rest last night, because they did it against a very good Baltimore Ravens team that came in hot. They came in very much pumped up, and they wanted to win this game. They did not catch them on a bad night. I know Ravens fans will probably say, oh, Kyle Hamilton was, banged up or whatever, and I do understand that. But bottom line, the Patriots prove that they can hang with anyone. So keep that in mind and have a lot of faith in this team, because they are in the midst of doing something special right now. How special could it be? We'll find out in the next few days. But on SI, we'll be covering all of the Patriots win. We'll continue to cover it from every angle. So make sure to check us out there. And then we're going to pivot and turn our attention very quickly to the JETS Jets coming up, and that potential hat and T-shirt game in East Rutherford coming up. But bottom line, we wish all of you a very happy holiday this week, and thank you for your holiday table, all of your hospitality this year. We look forward to many more of these, hopefully, because we think the Patriots might be in the midst of a pretty deep playoff run, my friend. So thank you for having me on. It means the world to me.
Man, it's been great. And obviously, like you said, we got a couple more games. I think, to be topical here, the Jets fans and maybe some other ones around the AFC got a little visit from Ghost of Christmas Future last night, seeing what Drake Maye and this Patriots team could do. Mike, always appreciate your time. We will talk to you next week, but a very Merry Christmas to you.
Absolutely. You as well and your family. Take care, Cam.
Thank you very much. Thank you. There he goes, Mike Debate, Patriots on SI, breaking it down for us every Monday morning, slightly after afternoon, because we are here every weekday, noon Eastern time, live on YouTube, and then available wherever you get your podcasts as well. Your lunchtime alternative to Boston Sports Talk Radio right here on the Wicked Boston Show. So get me your thoughts on this Patriots win, Drake Maye's MVP candidacy. Let me know in the comment section below. We're not done just yet. When we come back, we've got a Red Sox trade to talk about. Of course, it's not a free agent signing. That would be ridiculous. But this is a pretty good trade for the Red Sox. That said, there's a red flag that I want to go over next on the Wicked Boston Show.
Holiday football has arrived. With DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, the unexpected can turn game day into payday. And don't forget, DraftKings has your back with early exit. If your player goes down in the first half, you still get paid in cash. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code CAMSHOW. That's code CAMSHOW. New customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins instantly. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 8778-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 8887-897777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas, pass-through of per wager tax may apply in Illinois. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction, void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets, which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio limited time offer.
It's hard to find supplements that work. No, thank you. Plant-based supplements made from the Earth's most powerful plants for your immune health, gut health, workouts, and more. Find out more at auraorganic.com.
BadCreditLoans.com is a pioneering service provider that has carved a reputation in the financial industry. Simple, fast, and reliable loan application process. And its commitment to responsible borrowing makes it a trusted partner in the journey towards financial stability.
A house is a property, but we live in homes. Home sweet home. Homes where the heart is. We aim to deliver the best home buying and selling experience so you can spend less time real estating and more time living.
With Ease US, make studio quality voiceovers for your videos online in over 149 languages and dialects. Never been easier to create professional grade videos and voiceovers. Try it today at easeus.com. That's EASEUS.com. Ease US. Nalgene Outdoor has been your trusted companion, fueling adventures and helping protect the planet. We're committed to reducing waste, improving access to clean water, and providing simple, safe, and sustainable products for you and your family. NALGENE.com.
Here we go. Look at Boston Show, Rogue Media Sports Network. I am your host, Cam Stewart. Zach Burke is behind the glass, keeping us on the air 5 days a week, live on YouTube, noon Eastern time, and then wherever you get your podcasts as well. Special thanks to Mike Debate. I mean, the guy just comes in every Monday, gives us a great breakdown of the Patriots game from the day before and a great outlook on the future of this. And I'm glad we were all able to be honest about, the injury part of this thing, because it is concerning. And you do need to win one of these next two games against the Jets and the Dolphins, which should be, you should win one of those games with your hands tied behind your back. But you've got a bit of an injury thing going into the postseason here. I don't think they're going to get the number 1 seed because I don't know that Denver's going to lose. Denver has the tiebreaker. So, but out of that great victory did come some, I don't want to say red flags, but some concerns. Travion Henderson in Tonga, and hopefully Will Campbell and Milton Williams will be back when they're able to get off of IR in the next 2 weeks. One in each week. It's Williams next week and Campbell the week after. But anyway, we got to talk some Red Sox right now. The Red Sox made a trade over the weekend. Of course, the Red Sox did not make a free agent signing over the weekend. They made a trade because that's what they do. They trade with their old GMs. That's basically their business model now. Wilson Contreras is now a Boston Red Sox. Get the duck boats ready. I know there were some people that were still kind of upset about this, right? 34-year-old Wilson Contreras. Best days are behind him. What are we doing with this guy? It's not a bad deal. There's a double-edged sword to this trade for the Red Sox. And I'll start with the positive. Actually, I'll start with a little bit of the negative. I didn't love giving up Hunter Dobbins. but I do understand that that's kind of where they're at. Like, he's a surplus arm. They got rid of 2 of their surplus arms, he and Dick Fitz, over the last month or so here. So that's not really the issue. The good part about this, though, the good part about this Wilson Contreras trade is Wilson Contreras can still hit. You know, you needed right-handed power. And this does not solve all of it, right? Pete Alonso would have, but this does not. But it does make your team better. You've got a first baseman who plays a lot, and he can still hit. You have made your team better with this trade. I know it's not the sexy name that everyone was hoping for, myself very much included. And there are still some big names out there that the Red Sox could go and get. And I don't like that they're not willing to pay market value for the best free agents on the market. But all that aside, you made your team better here. 20 homers last year, OPS just under 800, 123 OPS plus, which is my favorite stat. So he's still much better than the league average hitter. He's still 25% better than the league average hitter, even in his 30s. And I like this from our pal Jackson Roberts, who I will try to get on the show tomorrow. He had a great note in his story for the Red Sox on SI. He says, like, look, you guys might not be interested in this as much as fans, but what the Red Sox are looking for, Wilson Contreras hits those things. Because he says the hard hit metrics suggest Contreras is still one of the better hitters in the sport, as he ranked in the 80th percentile or better in bat speed, expected slugging percentage, barrel rate, and xWOBA, which is a great old dirty baseball stat. He also put up an impressive 6 outs above average at first base. So defensively, he can still play that position. And obviously, he caught most of his career. He could play first base pretty well. And hitting-wise, those kind of under-the-hood stats that you look at for a guy who is slowing down, who doesn't have it anymore, Wilson Contreras doesn't have those yet. Like, they love bat speed. They love it. It's a pretty good indicator of guys in their 30s and whether they're going downhill or not. Wilson Contreras does not have a bat speed problem. He does not have a barrel rate problem. Okay, and he's still slugging. You know, the OPS is just under 800. He had over 50 extra base hits last year. You're not trading Hunter Dobbins for Pete Alonso, is what I'm saying. You didn't trade really anything that was going to hurt your major league roster or help your major league roster this year. And what you got is a more than serviceable everyday first baseman, which you did not have last year. You got better. You added 20 homers to the order. Like, you didn't have that. That's a huge upgrade over Romy Gonzalez and Abraham Toro. You're not comparing Wilson Contreras right now to Pete Alonso. You miss Pete Alonso. You're comparing him to Romy Gonzalez and Abraham Toro in a month of Tristan Casas. So, yeah, I think this is a good trade for the Red Sox. I do. But now I still have problems. Because, again, going to this whole thing of they won't pay free agents. They just think they're going to piece together a contending team by making trades. And even with the prospects they have, it's just not going to work like that. You know, you're not going to feel better about this season by adding Sonny Gray and Wilson Contreras via trade. You know, you went to a non-playoff team that just so happens to have someone that used to be your GM, and get a couple of their guys off them who they're trying to clear off the books. Guys who are both 32 or older that they're trying to clear off the books. Like, that's not what happens when you're trying to build a World Series contender. In fact, the 3 trades they've made in this offseason have all come from people they're familiar with. You know, Ben Cherington in Pittsburgh and a guy who used to be working under Craig Breslow, who liked, what's his name? They traded Oviedo for. Perales. And now the other two are with Chaim Bloom. Like, you have a little black book that has like 3 names in it, and those are the guys you do trades with. Like that just can't be how they're operating. There's plenty of time for them to make other moves, but like that can't be the way they're operating. And so, do I like the Wilson Contreras trade? I like Wilson Contreras, the player, and I like the deal in a vacuum. I do. But if this is the greater theme here, then there's still a big problem. The fact that they can't go outside of like 2 or 3 guys they can deal with and trade with. So you've limited yourself. You're not going to sign free agents. And you're not going to trade with 26 or 27 teams in the league. You have really limited your roster building to drafting and developing and trading with the Pirates and the Cardinals. That is the Red Sox model for getting better in 2026. The Orioles, on the other hand, another team in your division, are thinking, instead of doing what the Red Sox are doing, why don't I do what the other contending teams are doing and go out and get free agents, like the best players on the market? And the Blue Jays are saying, how about we go get the best players on the market? The Yankees last year were saying, how about we go get the best players on the market? The Red Sox are saying, how about we trade with these 3 teams? And we limit ourselves to that. And we say the only way to build around this team is to trade our tradable assets, which again is fine in a vacuum, and trade them with these 3 guys that we know that I've got on my do not disturb on my iPhone. That I have a problem with, and I still have a problem with it. So in a vacuum, yes, good trade, like it. But going into this offseason, you were talking about Joe Ryan and Pete Alonso. And right now, you have Sonny Gray and Wilson Contreras, who do fill some sort of holes on your team. But that is not what's going to take you from a wild card team that's out in the wild card round to being a World Series contender. Not when 2 other teams in your division got better than you already this offseason. 2 other teams in the AL East have improved in this offseason. And that's not even counting the team that knocked you out of the playoffs. Because they're going to get better too, because Garrett Cole's going to be back. So there's still a lot of work to do for this Red Sox team. Contreras can be a nice piece, but that is not filling the power outage in the middle of your lineup. It's a nice little contract, club option in 2028 when he's 36, but that's not going to fill the power outage in your lineup. It's just not. And the Red Sox have a ton of work still to do with number 2 starter and Pop. Well, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. Of course, we come at you live every weekday, noon Eastern time, and then we're available wherever you get your podcasts as well. It's your lunchtime alternative to Boston Sports Talk Radio. It is right here on the Wicked Boston Show with Cam Stewart. We've got one more day in the deadhead spare bed before we send you off for the Christmas break. So tune in tomorrow. We'll talk more about this reaction from the Patriots-Ravens game on Sunday Night Football. Do want some other aspects here of this Red Sox-Wilson Contreras trade and how the offseason is going so far. So tune into that tomorrow on the Wicked Boston Show.
Relax with Hemp Delicious. Organically grown hemp, massively blended with delicious organic herbs, responsibly sourced for their holistic benefits. Each sip offers calming, antioxidant-rich wellness. Brewed just for you. Sip the calm with Hemp Delicious.
At Open Goal USA, we're revolutionizing training for both soccer and lacrosse with our innovative portable rebounders. Perfect for players of all ages and skill levels. Visit OpenGOAAALUSA.com and elevate your training today.
Farmhounds offers natural treats and chews made with quality products that support family farm, regenerative agriculture, and humane farming practices. Give your dog the best with wholesome, organic ingredients that promote health and happiness. Shop now at farmhounds.com.
Get paid faster with Bill, the easiest way to send, receive, and manage your payments. No more delays, no more hassle. Whether you're a freelancer or a business, Bill makes payments seamless and secure, simple, fast, and reliable. Sign up today at Bill.com. We are Rogue Media Sports.